I think it's a good idea that we discuss the evolution of best vein care. From your perspective, it's now a new year, what your thoughts are about best vein care, and we could start from there. Basically, has the mission changed? What are your thoughts overall?
You know, our mission has remained the same, even though the year's been a tumultuous one in the healthcare field, both locally and really in the nation's capital. But our mission remains the same, that patients have the right to the highest level of care. And we've stayed true to our mission. We've learned a lot. We're new. We launched our company at the International Vein Congress. And since then, we've had physicians who have joined us, recognizing the need to help differentiate their practices in the field of vein surgery and vein care. We are a very open company in which in elevating the level of care, we're open to all ideas. And so we've learned a lot from other physicians. We are gaining national recognition. It's really incredible to think how far we have come from the concept to the establishment of an organization to now where physicians are seeking us out to join Best Vein Care.
The actual business aspect of Best Vein Care, there's been questions whether you're a non-for-profit, for-profit. What does that exactly mean to you?
The way Best Vein Care has been set up is really not to make money. It's easy to see that. It's about promoting physicians' practices where the public can actually identify the best practices in America. If it were set up to make money, then we'd be charging physicians a monthly fee. There's no monthly fee to participate with us. There's an application fee, but basically that covers the cost of all the verification processes that we have to do. There's a site visit fee, but again, that covers the cost of flying a verification officer to that physician's office. And after that, there's no expense. I'm driven on quality care. That's who I am. At the end of the day, when I retire, hopefully I will have made a difference in this field.
In the development of Best Vein Care, you established a physician quality committee. Let's elaborate about that, and what does a physician quality committee exactly mean?
Well, within Best Vein Care, we needed a physician, or we organized a physician quality committee that would actually have the final selection process on what physicians participate in Best Vein Care. It's not a fraternity. I don't choose who gets to come into Best Vein Care. It's very objective based on actually almost a 30-page application the physician fills out about his practice in his office. And then there's a site visit. There are points awarded for certain actions and points taken away for certain things they may do that are felt to be unsafe. That point system, the reviews, the background information then goes to a physician quality committee, which is made up of 8 physicians from all over the country with different backgrounds. They range from vascular surgery, interventional radiology, interventional cardiology, general surgery. These backgrounds, these physicians then vote on who would be allowed into Best Vein Care, who actually represent and fall under this voluntary regulatory framework and meet those standards. This physician quality committee is totally independent. They have no financial connection in any form or fashion, no stock, no payment, entirely voluntary. So physicians that come in are given the final approval by this committee.
The difference between a surgeon and a general practitioner, how do you differentiate the two?
At the end of the day, I want a physician who holds himself to the highest standard. As any field, we know there are good and bad in every field, every specialty, any type of business you're talking about. And at the end of the day, what really matters is a physician who cares about his patient, who holds himself to the highest standards, who's always improving his technical ability and taking care of the patient. That's what we're about. When I first became involved, I was actually shocked to see the various subspecialties there. I always assumed that everybody was like me who was performing these procedures with a surgical background, whether it was vascular or cardiac or general surgery. I realized very quickly that I was a minority, that the majority of the physicians performing these procedures don't have the surgical background that we have. And more importantly, these physicians were performing the procedures in their office where there's no oversight, there's no JCO, there's no CMS guidelines. And therefore, that's how we establish these criteria that would be taken into the doctor's offices. Whether we like it or not, whether you think only vascular surgeons should be performing these procedures, that's not the way it is. We are a minority. The majority of physicians performing these procedures do not have a surgical background in training. So what we can do is to help elevate the level of care for all the physicians the way we were taught. As we go through life, the information and the knowledge that we have and the sharing of that knowledge either can be intentional or unintentional, meaning that in our practice, if we just go along our varied way and perform our procedures, take care of our patients and go home, that's fine. But we're not sharing the information that we have. It's very unintentional. But if we intentionally share this information with other physicians on the standards of care and how we perform these procedures and the quality that can be given to the patients and raise the level of care for other physicians who may not know, who may not have thought of these things before. So it's very important that we be intentional in the delivery of the quality of care and information to other physicians to raise the level for all. So there's one standard level in the field of phlebology, in the field of the vein specialist. If we're not going to have a governing board, then we as physicians ourselves have to take control and have this regulatory framework to work under, that we can all come together under this one umbrella.
What do you think about the societies that are out there right now and how much influence they have when it comes to lobbying for practitioners? I like the idea of physicians having more control, and Best Vein Care actually offers that kind of platform. So from your perspective, what are your thoughts?
Physicians have always, for the lack of a better term, been pawns in the world of medicine. We've always been on that front line of any war or battle. And the generals in this battle have been the insurance companies and more recently the politicians. And unfortunately, physicians are somewhat powerless. I mean, we are at the will of Congress, Medicare, insurance companies, Blue Cross Blue Shield, United Healthcare, all the HMOs, and we've been that way. Unfortunately, physicians are maybe by nature very much individualist. They have been taught to help patients and give the highest standard of care. And because of that, because we're so isolated in our practices, other individuals can actually herd physicians very readily because physicians don't take an active stance in their own practice. And because of that, physicians are played. They're played now by Washington, they're played by the insurance companies, they're played against each other. We as a group of physicians need to come together as an organized body to make our voice heard and say enough is enough. If we don't do anything and are subject to the rules being regulated by insurance companies, and if we stood silently, then we have no one to blame but ourselves. At the present, there are two major organizations within the world of vein specialists, the American College of Phlebology and the American Venous Forum.
Great societies.
Great societies. Of course, as a surgeon, support the American Venous Forum. In the world of vein surgery, support the American College of Phlebology. I think they do a lot of good. What is their power on the national level? I'm not certain. I'm not certain that they have lobbyists in Washington, that they're taking an active stance. I know they seem powerless against insurance companies, and more specifically Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, that made the ruling that only certain specialties will be reimbursed for performing vein procedures. Specifically, they're saying that quality care is specialty specific. And we at Best Vein Care take the opposite stance, that quality care is not specialty specific, that no matter where you're coming from, what specialty, as long as you hold yourself to certain standards of quality care, that you should be allowed to perform these procedures. So the stance that Blue Cross Blue Shield has taken is very, very worrisome. We've got certain insurance companies picking out in the field of phlebology or vein surgery that they're only going to reimburse certain groups, certain specialties under the auspices that this is quality care. And we are adamant that quality care is not specialty specific. If you have a background of training and live up to certain criteria, standards of care, that you should be allowed to perform these procedures. I think the public will know that they can trust Best Vein Care to help direct them to the best practices throughout the nation. They may not know what the AVF or American Venous Forum stands for. They may not know what the ACP or American College of Biology is, but I promise you they will know what Best Vein Care is. Ultimately, Best Vein Care's mission is to change the way we practice, to elevate the standard of care within the field of vein specialists.